Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at family secrets people found out about. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. This is a very personal story. I am legally blind. I have been since I was 2. Multiple surgeries, lots of hospital time, retina specialists, etc. throughout my whole life. My parents told me how I lost my sight was that I cried a lot when you were a baby, and that's it. In adulthood, when I would go to the retina doctor, they'd ask how it happened, and I'd tell them, well, I guess I cried a lot. They were skeptical. Well, 2 decades after my mother died, and right after my father died, I was told the real story by 2 different extended family members. My mother was always an alcoholic. That part I knew. What I didn't know was that when I was a baby, yes, I cried. And my mother would bang my head on the floor to stop me from crying. It destroyed my retinas. This was confirmed with an unrelated MRI I had done in 2021, where the note said something about a perinatal insult. So both my parents took that little tidbit to their graves. Thanks guys, love ya. I feel so bad. I hope she's doing better. Oh my goodness, to find that out after their parents died and to know that they kept that from you. But to also know that it was their fault that you're like this. And they tried to act like it wasn't their fault. And the mother didn't even try to be a better person afterwards because she was still an alcoholic. Oh my goodness. What the heck? What the heck? But I'm glad she's so mature and wise about it, because in one of the comments she says that being mad doesn't change anything about it. So she's decided to just, live a happy life. That's very inspiring from her. But the parents, ridiculous. So the dad did nothing to stop it. It's crazy because she can't even actually be pissed at anyone because they're dead. So she just has to take it all in. Oh my goodness. I always knew my Uncle Jerry as a kid. He was a cool guy, but mostly a stranger who lived a few hours away from us and would only visit once every year or so. We were really close with the rest of the extended family, so this was a bit weird, but I never really thought about it. It wasn't until later that I realized that Uncle Jerry was much older than my dad, who was allegedly my grandparents' oldest child. Turns out Uncle Jerry was my grandmother's teen pregnancy, who she had given up for adoption and had reconnected with us when I was a baby. It was back in the day when these things were covered up, so she had gone off to the country to live with her older sister while she was pregnant and came home later, so even most of her brothers and sisters didn't even know. Apparently, it was a big shock when he came back into our lives, but they all welcomed him. He was lucky and had been adopted by a wonderful family. Now he's just Uncle Jerry who pops in now and then and sends Christmas candy every year. Cute. It's crazy that even his siblings didn't know about his existence until he came back one day. So they didn't even know they had an older sibling. But I do feel bad for him. The fact that he was basically given away, but the rest of his family are still together. Wouldn't you kind of hold some kind of resentment for that? To see that your family's still just doing so well. They were happy, but you're the one who was sent away. You were the one who were given up. My grandmother, the uber judgmental Christian, gave birth to my father exactly 9 months to the day after they married. When they passed away, we emptied their home and found an old safe. It had smelly money in it, the deed to the home and the marriage certificate, dated a whole month after they claimed to have gotten married. She actually had the audacity to criticize and find my mother wanting because she too was pregnant before marriage. Wow, that's tea, I guess it's just so much more interesting when you know that someone's judgmental, but they don't follow their own beliefs, but they're hypocritical when other people don't follow that belief. That's why it's interesting, because you're but you didn't do it, so why are you getting mad that she didn't do it? I was in college and broke up with my boyfriend because I found out he slept with my friend. Cried for weeks to my mum over the double betrayal. A couple months go by and eventually I found out my mum is bisexual, which is totally fine. The problem is that I found out that said friend not only banged my boyfriend, but had also been sleeping with my mum for several months. This caused a huge rift as they dated for about a decade. She only recently apologized for choosing for my friend over her daughter. What the frick did I just read? Her mum has been banging her friend. What the frick? Your own mother sleeping with your friend. First of all, disgusting. Second of all, are you dumb? Third of all, Why? My grandfather lost his mother as a child, and it was always a sensitive topic for him. But every time I'd ask how it happened, I was told that she was very sick and eventually passed away. When I was about 15 years old and had a reproductive health talk with my mother, we had touched on the topic of abortion, and then she let it slip that my great-grandmother actually died of consequences of a back alley abortion gone wrong. At that time, abortion was illegal where we're from, and she decided to go through with it because my great-grandfather was an abusive alcoholic and a cheater who subjected her to marital rape, and she couldn't support the children she already had. What's worse, he later married one of the women he cheated with, and they had more children. That woman then proceeded to abuse my 4-year-old grandfather and his sister, for instance by starving them and tying them to the kitchen table while she fed her children. The kicker was they all lived in the same village, just a few houses from each other, and the local drunk I'd sometimes see while visiting my grandpa and grandma was actually my great-grandfather, with whom my grandpa cut all ties, so he never even got to know even my mother, let alone me. It was really shocking to find that out at that age, and I think it really pushed me forward in advocating for women's rights. That's messed up. That's so sad. No wonder why the grandpa never wanted to talk about it. No wonder. Those people deserve a special place in hell. My mother, who looked down on divorced women and constantly made remarks about my divorce, was actually divorced before she met my father. This is what I mean. Hypocrites. You know, it's happened to them, but they never think it applies to them, only other people. It's because they're deflecting, right? Like they hate themselves so much. They have to deflect it onto somebody else. On a random day, I realized that my mother's biggest hater is her own family, and that's the day I realized, but their family means nothing. Exactly. Just because they're blood doesn't mean they always want the best for you. Because technically, you guys are not together because you want to be together. You're just together because you're tied by blood. You guys don't live together because you enjoy each other's company. So yeah, honestly, it doesn't mean anything if they're treating you shitty. My 3 times great-grandfather knocked up the 13-year-old from the farm down the holler. After they married, she died giving birth to their second child at 16. He then proceeded to knock up and then marry her little sister, who was 13 at the time. The second one is my 3 times great-grandmother. What? So the law back then, like I don't even know how it was back then, but it's probably so bad, especially for women. They probably just never got the justice that they deserved. My parents got divorced in the 70s. I learned through a chance discovery many years later that my father was cheating on my mother at the time. My mother's next husband was a hideous, corpulent, embarrassing, illiterate redneck. I much later learned that she had had a child by this person before she met my father. It's so strange because she was so much better than this vile character in every single way. I later learned that my mother's brother had encouraged the then young, fat redneck to pursue my mother out of malice towards her. This happens so often too, because you always see like people and you're always wondering why they're still together with this jerk, or the other way around too. Like why is he still together with her, or why is she still together with him? Like she's so much better, or he's so much better. Why can't they find someone else? So they probably were like treated so well, and their true characters just came out. And then the other person is clinging on because they still have the good memories, you know, but those memories are fake. But they keep thinking that the person will change back to who they were before. But that person never existed because that was just a facade. They never existed. I think that's just so sad. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.